First question to you is, where do you get your strongest downloads? Spiritually, that is. Think about that. And if you wish to share it, you can do so in the comment section. Greetings, everybody. Hope you had a blessed weekend and you're looking forward to a prosperous new week. I'm not going to tell you productive, because when you think production, you're thinking about simplicity. You're not thinking about elevation. You're not thinking about the person who is in control of their own life. You're not thinking about just producing for other persons, wealth and just for your consumption. We have to start changing our mind about how we see life and find a new way to reprogram our thoughts. Now, before you is a very special place in my household. Everywhere I live, there is always a special place where I get the greatest downloads. And in this household, it's right here. And that's why I'm going to have this conversation showing you that pic. Now, I'm going to advise you. That doesn't mean you have to take my advice, but I'm going to suggest, maybe that's a better word, that you don't swear for anybody. What do I mean? Don't swear. Don't start saying this person will never do this or the person would never do that. For the moment you start doing that, even for yourself, you vow, I will never do this. You will do just that, because that is human nature. Let me get into this story. I was a Seventh-day Adventist for many, many, many years. And I'm not a Christian anymore, and therefore not a Seventh-day Adventist. However, I still do have some fundamental beliefs. And I still believe that they have the strongest health message in any arena. Because they didn't wait for a certain trend to be telling you this. They were predicting it. They were prophesying so many things that are happening today. And so within this movement, there's still people who are really chosen. And I think in every area, whether religious or otherwise, they're prophets. Okay, I'll leave it there for now. But while I was attending this church, there was a young man that I admired, a very young man. And he got married, and I was close to him and his his wife. I remember one day we were going on a trip, and while we were on the bus, she was swearing for her husband, saying, let's say his name is George. George would never do this, and George would never do that, and George, is this awesome person. And while he was a great guy, and when the young man preached, you would get chills up your spine. And I said to her, don't swear for anybody, but you can say you're giving thanks for the way he seems to be, and you pray that he gets strength to maintain that disposition. Don't swear. She says, no, he would never cheat on me. And I said to her, the moment you say that, you have subjected yourself to be tested in that arena. Fast forward about a year later, he called me, because I used to do Bible studies with him. And he called me up, and I said, I haven't seen or heard you for a while. And he says, the devil got me. I said, what do you mean the devil got you? Aren't you making choices and blaming it on the devil? And he says, anything that is bad, or that's considered to be bad, that's what I'm drawn to. Girls and money. And he went on to share some of the stuff that he was going through. And what I respected about him is that he was honest, but his wife didn't know. They had a beautiful marriage up till that point. And now he's saying to me, I'm all over the place doing all kinds of things. And I thought to myself, wow, I remember the conversation I had with that young lady. And even I am having a metamorphosis and a confession in this video. Because it's not that I was swearing for him, but I believed in him. I was looking at some history and I believed in this man. And I made the mistake of even comparing him to my Jamaican prime minister. When I say mine, I didn't vote for him, but as long as he's Jamaican and as long as he's African, he's still mine. And even if I say things about him, I would love to see him change. But I compared him to this other man. I thought he was a better person. And I am since ashamed. And I have to say, apologize not to either one of these men, but apologize to, yeah. Because we are told never, to idolize any person. Never to put anybody else up on a pedestal, including yourself. Because as human beings, we are frail. And in some arena, when it comes to power or strength, and when I say strength, put that in quotation, might is probably a better word. People will change. Even if they're heading down a pathway that is positive. When you mix money and power in that mix, you know that is like an elixir. And so I'm going to encourage you. You got your children, you pray for them. You got your partner, you pray for them. You got your friends, your family. Don't swear for anybody. And I'm going to add that to say, when it comes to trust no one. Maybe you might have a little bit of confidence in somebody, but it's best to have a confidence in yourself. Because your people, human being, will put you to shame. And when you have so much trust and confidence in people, I'm telling you, when you find out that they're not who you think they are, and sometimes you want to believe people are this way, even though the signs are not there. So yes, I thought this individual that I was swearing for and comparing to the Jamaican Prime Minister, for example, was doing a certain thing, but he was just talking. And by mistake, I took his words and gave them more value than they were supposed to have. This being is a very wicked man. And the world waits to see the truth of who he is. But he's a very good talker, very charming, very beautiful in his disposition. Wicked in Jamaica, they say wicked not BC. Trust me, trust and believe. But I'm going to also say this too. When it comes to people's DNA, you understand me? You don't know, you might see a person's face, but I do believe that your genetic makeup does define who you are. And so if you look at ancestry and if you look at people's lineage and things like that, you might say that shouldn't matter. An individual is an individual. But there's certain traits that are in you that is going to be in your child and in your children's children. And so we can't escape that. And because we cannot escape that, we shouldn't just judge that either. But you have to take that into account before you start swearing for people. When you look at history and look at the patterns from AD 100 to 2021, it's distinct. It's distinct. It hasn't gone off course. It hasn't changed anything else but its appearance. And so when you see people, because you can't see the lineage, and some of these lineage are cursed, you can't see the lineage. You see, African people love to remind each other that we are cursed. And therefore, that's why you see so many unfortunate events in our communities, in our homes, because we accepted that. You'll find the typical African person. And when I say African, I mean black black because there really is no race. It's a construct. But because we understand it, I use it. So when I say African, I mean black people, people with dark skin, people who are mixed or biracial or whatever, is not necessarily black, because you can be of two different races that is completely unrelated to our heritage. But when I'm talking about our own people, melanated people, or whatever terms you choose to use, and oftentimes these terms come from other people anyway. But when it comes to trusting people, I'm suggesting you think carefully before you do that. So, as I examine what's happening in the world, and I examine things that happen in my own personal life, I'm saying when I have confidence in somebody, I start praying more. I start praying for my partnership. I start praying for my friendship. I start praying, that it is maintained, that it stays that way, because it can change any time. It's the biggest lesson that I have learned, because I'm thinking, wow, how could I be so deceived? How could I think this person, first of all, that I don't know? I didn't know this person. I was just going on what the person was saying. I saw the face of a person, and that's why many of us are deceived, because the face, in the very religious circles, it's telling you that you're going to be deceived by a person who come and say all kinds of things to you, and show you all kinds of things. Many of us are going astray because people are very good. They're very good at being master manipulators. And for women, some of you can relate to this. You meet this guy and he seems so perfect. You just don't understand what could go wrong. And you look for every excuse in the book to say something must have affected that. Anything else but that person. But the person just is creative and is a genius at deceiving you. And you just cannot accept that. And I want you to accept that there are creative geniuses in this world that will deceive you, even at the very minute when they're over you, to end you. You're still going to say, no, 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 it's something else. And then you're going to start blaming the devil. Don't do that. Accept it for what it is. Accept the fact that there are folks who are going to come out here and use their charisma. And they're the same ones who are going to come here to do what is important to them for their selfish gain or means and destroy you. So don't allow anyone to deceive you. Don't. And don't swear for anybody, and don't trust nobody until they have earned your trust. And give it time. 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. That's not long enough. Give it more time, and the truth will come out for sure. You will get to know them. You will get to know them. You will get to know them. You will get to know them eventually, because you can only pretend for so long. You can only deceive the crowd for so long. You can only deceive for so long before the universe and the true leaders of the universe open you up like a can of worm and expose you to the world. Think about it.